Ever heard of the millionaire who turned utter foolishness into millions? Every foolish move he made turned into profit. He had no education, no polish, and definitely no fear of being ridiculed. He became one of the most bizarre millionaires in early America. His story is not just strange, it is explosive. And it will make you question everything you think you know about business, risk, and luck. Meet Timothy Dexter. Timothy was born in 1747 in Malden, Massachusetts. He grew up poor, with little schooling, and started working as a leather apprentice at a young age. There was nothing about his early life that hinted at greatness. He was not a genius inventor. He was not a powerful politician. He was a simple tradesman. But inside this ordinary man burned an unstoppable hunger for wealth. When he was in his 20s, he married a wealthy widow, a move some called lucky, but Dexter saw it as opportunity. With her money he began to trade and speculate, stepping into a world of risk that few dared to enter. The American Revolution had just shaken the colonies and the young United States was drowning in worthless paper money. Most people avoided this currency like a plague, but Dexter did something shocking. He bought as much as he could. Neighbors mocked him. Experts said he was throwing his life savings into the fire, but Dexter had a strange instinct. When the new government later decided to honor much of that debt, his pile of nearly worthless paper suddenly became a mountain of cash. Overnight, the poor leather worker became a rich man. With money in his pocket, Dexter began making business moves that seemed insane to everyone around him. And this is where the legend truly begins. He heard people in the West Indies needed goods, so he sent shipments of bed warmers to the tropical islands. Imagine selling devices meant to heat beds in a land where the sun blazes year-round. Critics laughed. Merchants whispered that he was doomed. But when the ships arrived, clever buyers discovered the brass bed warmers made perfect ladles for molasses. They sold out at a profit, and Dexter laughed all the way to the bank. His next venture, he sent mittens to the South Pacific. The people barely wore clothes. What would they do with mittens? Again, people mocked him. Again, he sold every single pair to traders who shipped them to colder markets. Then came the deal that made his name immortal. Dexter shipped coal to Newcastle, England, a city famous for its own endless coal mines. It was the very definition of a useless shipment. People still use the phrase carrying coal to Newcastle to describe a pointless action. But when his ships arrived, Newcastle miners were on strike and coal prices had spiked, and Dexter sold every ton for a premium price, turning a supposed disaster into another triumph. It was as if the universe bent to his madness. Every ridiculous gamble somehow worked. His next extraordinary gamble, he bought large quantities of whalebone at a time when demand was collapsing. Then fashion suddenly swung back to stiff corsets and whalebone stays, making him another fortune. Was he a fool with miraculous luck, or a secret genius who saw patterns others missed? The debate continues to this day, but Dexter was not only a trader, he was a showman. With his new wealth, he built a grand mansion in Newburyport, Massachusetts, and filled his estate with life-size statues of famous figures, including George Washington and even himself. He declared himself Lord Timothy Dexter, a title no government had ever granted. He loved to shock the polite society that sneered at his rough manners. Then followed perhaps his most outrageous stunt. He faked his own death. Dexter staged an elaborate funeral, just to see who would come, and how they would mourn. Hundreds attended, but his wife did not cry enough for his liking. So when Dexter revealed himself alive, he scolded her in front of everyone. It was a spectacle only he could imagine. And it cemented his reputation as the strangest rich man in America. Despite having little education, Dexter decided to write a book. The result was as wild as his life. In 1802 he published a work called A Pickle for the Knowing Ones. It contained no punctuation and almost no spelling rules. Just a chaotic flood of words about politics, business, and his own greatness. Critics mocked the book, but it sold widely. When readers complained about the lack of punctuation, Dexter responded by adding an extra page filled with random marks, telling people to sprinkle them wherever they liked. Even his writing became a profitable joke. Timothy Dexter died in 1806 at the age of 59. But his legend only grew. Some saw him as a lucky fool, a man who stumbled into fortune again and again. Others believed he possessed a rare instinct for timing and market opportunity. The truth may lie somewhere in between. Dexter may not have been educated, but he was fearless. He ignored the crowd, he trusted his gut, and he dared to act when everyone else hesitated. His life reminds us that success often belongs to those willing to look foolish, to take risks, and to bet on possibilities others dismiss. What can we learn from Lord Timothy Dexter today? First, never underestimate the power of bold action. Dexter bought what others hated and sold where others laughed. Second, timing matters more than appearance. A crazy idea at the right moment can beat a perfect plan at the wrong one. And third, embrace your own unique style. Dexter refused to fit in, and that difference made him unforgettable. So the next time someone tells you your dream is too strange, too risky, or too foolish, remember Timothy Dexter, the man who sold coal to Newcastle and bed warmers to the tropics. The man who turned nonsense into millions. His empire was built not on education or social polish, but on daring moves and relentless confidence, and that spark still inspires today. If you enjoyed this journey into the life of a man who turned madness into fortune, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who loves surprising success stories, and subscribe to Empire Sparks for more incredible tales of wealth, risk, and unstoppable ambition. Your next big idea might sound crazy now, but as Timothy Dexter proved, crazy just might be the start of greatness.